episode 9 of the Upper Lot podcast. My name is Nicky.
And I'm Dennis, and today we're talking about Mario Kart, Koopa's Challenge, with award-winning executive producer Geef Russell. So today we have a very special guest on our podcast. He worked on several Universal projects, such as Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Fast and Furious Supercharged and Transformers The Ride 3D, but also several Disney projects, and his most recent project was the involvement in Super Nintendo World. He left Universal in 2017 and is now the president of Geef Russell and Company. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Mr. Geef Russell.
Hey. Thank you, Dennis and Nicky.
Yeah. Hello, Geef. Welcome to our show. This is our first English podcast.
Really? How great!
So we're very happy to have you on our show.
Thank you.
Our podcast is all about Universal. What do you remember about your first time you walked into a Universal theme park?
I just felt how different it was from every other theme park. It seemed to really be focused on people who really liked a lot of action and a lot of excitement. I was used to other theme parks that were, more about fairy tales and just, lazy rivers and things like that. But when you come into a Universal park, there's nothing lazy about it. It's in your face, it's big, it's explosions, and it's just unforgettable moments.
Yeah, it's
I
the
couldn't-
same thing.
I couldn't agree more. That's also the same explanation I use when I try to explain people the difference also between Universal and another major theme park brand involving a mouse. That with Universal, it's always in your face. It's action, explosion.
Yeah.
I mean, after the first day at a Universal park, you're exhausted. I mean, you saved the world three or four times, and
Yeah, we've read your theme park bio, and it's actually so long. We're going to place it on our website because there's too many projects you worked on. How did you get involved in this industry?
Yeah, it's interesting. I went to college and I got a film and TV production degree, even a master's degree, because I was living in Hollywood, like I still am now, and I was going to go in to the studio business and write screenplays and direct films. And I graduated. I had my diploma, and I found out that none of that meant anything in Hollywood. you had to pretty much know somebody, and it's a very kind of grueling industry to get into. And then I had a friend from college who was working at Imagineering, and I called him up and I said, "Hey, look, I know how to do everything, but I'm having trouble breaking into the industry." He says, "Well, Walt Disney Imagineering, this is in the late 80s, Walt Disney Imagineering is gearing up for all kinds of worldwide projects right now that Michael Eisner and Frank Wells has taken over the company. And we have more projects than we can possibly handle. We need everybody who has any kind of a valuable background." I said, "Great." And so I started working there. And what I quickly learned was, yes, they needed my writing skills and my directing skills and creative design skills. But in a theme park, it's completely different from a film or a TV show because you actually have to build the building that the attraction is going to go into. And that's something I had to learn. And then there's the whole engineering side of these rides that you have to figure out how the ride's going to work. So, and also the special effects that you feel. Those were all new things I had to learn as I began my career at Walt Disney Imagineering.
Yeah, just like you just mentioned, it was the golden era of new theme parks in the world. Can you name some of the projects you worked on for Walt Disney Imagineering?
So at that time, the Studio Tour Park in Orlando, Disney Studio Tour Park, had opened a year or two before I got there. And Eisner and Wells realized it was a huge success for what the investment was, and they immediately wanted to expand it. So I worked to help expand that project. And then shortly thereafter, they wanted to add a second theme park to Euro Disneyland. which was a studio park as well. So I worked on that, and then began working on a huge new project in Tokyo. Tokyo Disneyland had been a huge success, and they wanted the second park. And so Imagineering said, "Well, why don't you do a studio tour?" And they said, the Japanese said, "Well, we're not really interested in studio tours." And then
No.
Disney said, "Well, how about a new exciting Epcot?" And the Japanese said, "Well, we're not really that interested in Epcot." And Disney kind of said, "Well, those are the two other parks that we can build for you." And the Japanese said, "Well, we want you to design a whole new park for us." And Imagineering said, "Well, it's kind of expensive to design a whole new theme park from scratch." And the Japanese said, "Well, we know that you, Imagineering, if you design a park, it'll be fantastic, and we will pay you to do that." So they pulled a team together and they said, "Here's the assignment. Come up with a whole new idea for a theme park that we haven't done before." And so we started working and thinking about all kinds of ideas with Steve Kirk and his team. And we finally came up with an idea that the Japanese liked. It was Tokyo Disney Seas. And that project, the idea of it is that you can travel the world to every exotic waterfront, present and past. And we created these wonderful, really lands, but surrounded by water. And instead of a train going around the park, we had what's called transit steamer boats going around the park. And a huge volcano in the middle with a great nighttime spectacular when it explodes. And just all kinds of exciting new rides that hadn't been done before. And of course, the Japanese love that park, and it's always rated as one of the top 5 parks in the world.
I think we can be honest that among us theme park enthusiasts, the Tokyo Disney Sea is acclaimed to be the best theme park in the world.
It's on my bucket list.
It's the most amazing theming. I think I haven't been there myself personally, but looking at the park and seeing the rides and the theming, it's something out of this world. It's extraordinary.
Thanks a lot. It was a
So
great team we
yeah,
had working on that project.
Yeah, you decided to quit at Walt Disney Imagineering and you went to Universal Creative. What did you do in the
Yeah, there was a
meantime?
little break in between those things that happened. What happened when I left Imagineering, I had begun doing some museum projects, believe it or not, for Disney when I was at Imagineering, and I decided that I wanted a little break from going right back into theme parks, and I began doing theme park work. I'm sorry, museum work. And Bob Weiss had left Imagineering at about that time too. Things were kind of in a bit of a lull in 2000 after a bunch of parks had opened and nothing new was coming. And so we teamed up on a couple projects together. And so we did a project for the U.S. Navy, which was we built a missile destroyer in a soundstage, and we created a 12-hour training experience for Navy cadets to make sure they were ready to go to sea. And we used all kinds of theme park special effects to make it seem like the ship was being attacked. And we had flooding and we had fire. It's called Battle Stations 21. It was very successful. It's still running today. We also worked on like movie making exhibits on the Museum of Science and Industry. And so anyway, that's what we did for a number of years. Then finally, Bob went back to Imagineering, where he's currently the creative president of Imagineering. And I got an offer from my good friend Chiri Koo at Universal to come work on a project for him at Universal.
Yeah, but because you started Universal Creative, what was your first project at Universal Creative?
Well, when Chiri called me and said, would you like to work on a project? I said, maybe. What is it? He said, well, it's Harry Potter. I said, well, yeah, I would like to do that. I said, what do you want me to do? And he says, well, first of all, we need someone to write the script. And so that's what I did. It was a lot of fun, obviously. What's really great about Universal is they allow you to really use your imagination to come up with the most incredible experiences, even if there's no technology to deliver it. And this is a recurring theme. So I wrote this script, and as you can imagine, the script, you know, flies you over Hogwarts and flies you past dragons and takes you to Quidditch, and you got Dementors chasing you. And so I gave him this script. I said, here it is. You're flying all around these places. And he says, well, what ride system did you have in mind when you wrote the script? And I said, well, I didn't have a ride system in mind.
No.
I'm a writer and I'm a producer. Some engineer is going to have to figure out how to make it work. And luckily, Thierry is a brilliant engineer, and he worked with their team there, and actually found a system, as you know, a robotic ride system that could be
With the Koopa
programmed.
arm.
Yeah, it's on a track, and and then the other brilliant thing that he developed was a way for that ride vehicle to go past sets like a normal ride, but then seamlessly turn into a domed screen. And once you're in a domed screen, that ride becomes a flight simulator. And so then you can go out the window of a Hogwarts castle, you can fly, past dragons, and you can do all those scenes, and then seamlessly turn back into the sets when you need to. So it was a groundbreaking ride from a technology standpoint. And as you know, that whole land, so beautiful, so immersive, and really opened Disney's eyes and said, "Wow, that's pretty great. We better up our game and see what we can do to develop rides that are that compelling."
Yeah, but because we mention it a lot of times in our show. I mean, every time Universal announces something new, something groundbreaking, it always gives us something extra from Disney, because those two parties are always challenging each other.
Yeah. Well, when I talked to
And without Wizarding World,
when I
we,
talked
we
to my
wouldn't have
friends,
had Batu.
when I talked to my friends at Imagineering, they really loved Harry Potter because it raised the bar for the whole industry, and everyone started coming up with new ideas for new attractions and new rides.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, because after that project, you worked on some other several projects, like we mentioned in the intro, like Fast and Furious, Transformers.
Mm-hmm.
We would like to know, how did you get from those projects to Super Nintendo World? When was the first time you heard about the project?
Yeah, so you're right. I worked on Transformers, which I love that ride. You go on that ride and you get off the ride and you go, "What just happened to me?" There's so much going on. You just can't. Your senses can't even take it all in. And so we finished that ride. We did one at Universal Japan, one for Universal Hollywood, of course, and of course one for Universal Orlando. Um, and then Fast and Furious came along, and this is the Hollywood version, which is different from the Orlando version, as you know. And
Yep.
that ride was a lot of fun to do. We have the special effects at the beginning, the holographic experiences with the cast, and then to turn a 120-foot long tram into a ride vehicle and into a motion-based simulator, in a sense, was a lot of fun to figure out the engineering of that and how to get the media to look right on that. So, and basically, when I was in the middle of, or actually toward the end of Fast and Furious, Thierry came to me and said they were working on this new Super Nintendo World project, and asked me to write and produce the Mario Kart Koopa's Challenge ride. So that's how it happened. At the end of Fast and Furious, I got transferred from Hollywood back to Orlando, and worked with the creative team there to develop the concept for that ride.
Awesome, because the ride development started like years ago, and
Mm-hmm.
like you mentioned earlier in the podcast, at Universal is not scared to try out new things, new ride systems, new technology. And for instance, the technology they're using today, like the AR technology, that was not available like 6 or 7 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
How does something like that infect the development of such a ride?
Yeah. So again, Thierry challenged us and said that he wants to do a ride on Mario Kart. But he said that it had to be something that had never been done before, something that really was keeping in the spirit of what the game is. And of course, that meant that the implication was that it would have to be a game that you played as you were going through the ride. Now, as you know, the game is really cool. You shoot shells, you hit things, you see the shells fly,
Yep.
you see the shells hit something, you see that target change in some way. So again, I wrote a script that did all these impossible things like that. And again, they came to me and said, "This is really a great script. How are you going to do this?" I said, like back to my Harry Potter days, I'm a writer. I just write what I think will be a great experience, and I expect somebody else to figure out how technologically it's going to work. Luckily, again, Thierry came to the rescue with his great technical knowledge, and he said, "We're going to use augmented reality for this ride." And the whole team, I was in a meeting when I first heard this with a bunch of people, and you could just hear the air go out of the room. Part of it was fear, part of it was like, is Thierry gone crazy? Uh, and then we started trying to talk him out of it. Basically, we said, "Look, AR for this purpose doesn't even exist yet. It's hard enough just to design a ride with the sets and the lighting, the audio, and special effects. And if you want to add on top of that, developing a very complicated system, it seems like it's an impossible challenge." And he said, "That's what we do here at Universal. We just take on the impossible and make it work." So that's what we did. And no sooner than we got into this whole augmented reality world, we began to realize how much we had bit off and were trying to chew. As you probably know, and I didn't know when I first started working on the AR, it's a really incredibly complex system. Most people just think, oh, it's a pair of goggles that are clear and they project images in it, and there you go. No, there's a whole computer system built into those headsets, because as you look at something, the computer has to know where your head is looking. So it puts
Yeah.
whatever it is right where it belongs. And it can't move, because if it moves, it'll give away that it's a projection. It has to be rock steady. Okay, so that's the first complication. Second complication is you're in a ride vehicle and you're riding through a ride through different scenes. So the computer not only has to know where you're looking, it has to know where you are exactly in the ride. And then it has to serve up those images instantaneously. There can't be any lag, or again, it won't be realistic. So anyway, we had to do this whole really R&D effort, right as we were also trying to design the ride at the same time. And again, to Thierry's credit and to the team who worked on it, they were able to get really the first working augmented reality system on a theme park ride that's ever been done. So it was an incredible accomplishment.
Yeah, I think everybody was very impressed, also technology wise, because the main question is, and like you already explained, how do you translate a video game into a theme park ride? And yeah, AR is the technology to do it. Um,
Yeah, how
and
was Nintendo involved in this project? Because they have a lot of, I would say, restrictions on their property, their IP. And how do you translate a script from their IP into a ride?
I have to say that the folks at Nintendo were absolutely wonderful to work with. They were creative soulmates with us. They completely understand the creative process, um, from the very top of their company all the way down. And they had total respect for what we do, and we had total respect for what they do. And so that mutual respect and appreciation for each other's vision and creativity was perfect. So sometimes we would tell them or suggest to them that something should be done a certain way, and they would say, "Well, that really wasn't quite the way we thought it should go, but we opinion so much, we're going to do it your way." And we would do the same thing with them. They would say they would want something a certain way, and we would say, "Well, that's not exactly how we do it, but And again, we would trust them. And so that working relationship is really what helped make this ride so successful.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Looking now at the ride, like we said, you left Universal in 2017. A lot of things moved forward, and also the project, the ride opened like 1 or 2 weeks ago when
A few weeks ago,
when
yeah.
we recording this. I'm sure you've seen some portions of the ride, maybe everything, maybe a lot. If you look at the ride that's been presented today by Universal, is there anything you would change about the Mario Kart ride? Or, for instance, for Epic Universe, just got the park just got announced, set to open 2025. Is your company still involved? Are you still involved in that project?
No, we're not involved with that project anymore. But I think it turned out really fantastic. If you think about trying to meld two very different technologies, a ride system, as you know, is a technology that has certain fundamental things going for it. It's a moving vehicle. It's going through sets. There's lighting, there's sound, and then a video game is a completely different thing. It's sitting on your couch with a controller looking at a screen. So they're very different experiences, very different technologies. And to meld those two together in a way that works, I believe was really quite an accomplishment. And I think it takes the future of theme park rides to a whole new level of possibilities that are really limitless and can really expand your imagination of what future ride experiences will be.
Anything is possible.
Yeah, it's funny you
Yeah.
just mentioned it. For the future of theme park designs when it comes to Universal, in the theme park community, there's a lot of joking that Universal is a screen-based park. They really set a new bar when it comes to screen-based rides.
Mhm.
What's your perspective on this development of screen-based from like traditional dark rides to more screen-based rides?
I'll tell you one of my favorite stories was from the Transformers ride that we did. Originally, the idea for the Transformers ride was that all the robots in that ride were all going to be really real robotic figures,
Oh wow!
animated figures. Well, think about
Real
it. Well,
animatronics,
yeah, I mean, think about
life-size
it. It,
animatronics.
it makes sense that they're robots. Why not build robots and have them
Yeah,
do it? And so, but as the ride was developed, it became clear very quickly that real robots playing robots can't move like the robots do in the films. And so Thierry was very quick again to dump the real robots and realize that it had to be done with media. And that theme up over and over again, where media gives you all the motion, all the effects, all the experiences that you want. And robotics right now, anyway, have so many limits about how they move, where they can move to. And so that's the reason that Universal leans so heavily on the media world. And Disney is going more and more in that direction as well. So.
yeah. If you look at the new rides, I mean, Rise of the Resistance does have a lot of animatronics, but it also features a lot of screens and a
Mickey
lot
and
of
Minnie's Runaway
projection.
Railway Train.
Yeah,
Yeah, I hate that
yeah,
title.
yeah. It's the same one. Also relying heavily on projection. So yeah, okay, yeah. I get your point. I get your point. If we're looking at you, Chick, I mean, what kind of projects are you currently working on? What does the future hold for the Chick Russell company?
Yeah, well, we're really busy right now, believe it or not, even in these difficult COVID times. We're doing projects all over the world. And what's fun for me is I'm doing a mix of both theme park projects and museum projects. So, we recently developed a cultural entertainment pavilion in Saudi Arabia. We've done flying rides in China and a rodeo museum in Texas. And we're currently developing an exciting new immersive experience in New York City, an incredible theme park in China with all new story content, and even a cultural theme park in India.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah,
So
there's a lot.
So thanks a lot for making some time for us in this busy schedule.
It was great talking to you.
No, but if I may ask you something, I mean,
Sure.
hey, we're all theme park enthusiasts, and if I'm looking at myself, I'm a guy who spent like 15 years already to get a foot between the door in the industry, and like you said, in the movie industry, it's very hard. You have to know the people, and the theme park industry is pretty much the same. You have to know the people to get into the projects. And if there's one thing you wish you had known before you started your career within the theme park industry, what would that be? And what kind of advice would you give someone
Yeah.
pursuing these dreams?
Yeah. The advice I give to people is first of all, get a degree in some area that's related to theme park. My degree in film and television really helped me quite a bit because I knew how to write a script, I knew how to direct, I knew how to do creative direction, and so that the thing I had to learn once I got to Imagineering was I had to learn about building a facility and what it takes to get all the show systems to connect to a facility, what the impacts are. And then I also had to learn about physical special effects, which is another engineering area. But once I had all that background and had worked on a couple of projects, then I could really do just about any project I wanted to do. So what I tell folks today is, or people wanting to get into the business, is first of all, get that degree in arts or engineering, and then join the Themed Entertainment Association. They have the Next Gen group, and they are welcoming to all people who want to get into the industry, and then attend meetings. And my belief is right now, at the end of COVID, uh, things are going to start happening a lot more in the industry. They're going to need new people. The theme park companies are going to need new attractions to draw more people. So it's can only get brighter in the next couple of months and years. And so now's a good time.
Awesome. That's some great advice.
Yeah, what would you say is your best part of your job? Like take us on a daily schedule.
Yeah. The favorite part of my job is really coming up with concepts. I really enjoy Marty Sklar, the former chairman of Imagineering. He used to always say that the blank piece of paper was always the greatest opportunity. And I feel the way it is. When someone asks me to do a project and it's the blank paper, that's where my brain just kind of explodes with ideas, and jotting them down and making them better and eliminating bad ideas, and just crafting something that I think people will enjoy doing, and making it something that's never been done before. For me, that's a really fun part of what my job is.
Awesome. So basically the blue sky sessions, like they
Yeah, I
call them.
mean, how many times in your life can you sit down and dream up an experience and then actually see it come to fruition? Not not often, but in what I do, I get to do that quite a bit.
I'm still dreaming right now of the real animatronic size Transformers. That would look amazing.
Yeah, it would look amazing, but you would go to sleep.
Well, that's definitely not possible on the current Transformers ride. There's no possible way you can sleep on that ride.
No, it's not.
No.
When we're talking about Universal rides, could you tell us your top 3 Universal rides without hesitation? Like 3, 2, 1. What would it be?
It's got to be Harry Potter. It's just awesome. Transformers, I still ride it and can't believe what's happening to me, even though I worked on the whole thing. And I really believe the new Mario Kart ride takes theme parks to a whole new level of possibilities and experiences. So those have to be my top 3.
Did you already rode the new Mario Kart
Nope, not
ride
yet.
yet?
Nope.
It's currently also under development just around the corner in Universal Studios Hollywood. So.
That's right. It's under construction. Yeah, that's probably where I'm going to ride it the first time.
Well, Chick,
Awesome.
thank you so much for joining us on our today's show. Where can listeners connect with you online?
Online, they can go to my website, which is chickrussell.com. Lists all my projects and a little bio about me, and that's the place to go.
I would definitely recommend. I mean, there's also some awesome videos of opening at the Transformers ride.
You can take a day off reading the bio only.
Yeah. It's incredible. I mean, not to suck up to you, but it's amazing.
Thanks.
So
so thank you for all for yourself and all the listeners. If you love the Upper Lot podcast, we would love to see some reviews and subscribe to our channel. We're going to probably do some more English shows in the near future.
Yeah, hopefully.
And where can people see and find us online?
They can find us on all social media at Upper Lot Podcast. That means on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, even LinkedIn. You can find us at Upper Lot Podcast.
Yeah, you can also visit our website. It's upperlotpodcast.nl. So not .com, .nl. So, Chick, thank you so much. And we hope to talk to you soon for some more other Universal projects.
Great.
Yes,
Great talking to you, Nicky and Dennis.
Awesome. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.